Sure, I'll be glad to. Where would you like me to stand? Right here?
We just want to level cover it to make sure.
Neal Reynolds, keep it. Sure. Just a little history. I grew up in Lafayette, Alabama, and still own quite a bit of property here, and decided a few years ago to come back and hunt and fish here. And I went and leased 500 acres up in the country, and I own some property off of B Street. So Mac Tucker's been my attorney now for several years, so I called him up, said, do you think there'd be a problem if I bring a camper in there? When I'm down here spending a couple of nights during hunting season, he said he didn't have a problem with it, didn't see a problem. So I brought a camper in 3 years ago, called the city. Can I get electricity? Yes, you can get electricity. So I've been there 3 years. I've got now 3 grandsons. They want to start coming down. I don't have room in the little camper, so I decided I'd get a bigger camper. So I called down to get water. It took a while to get anybody to return phone calls. That was when y'all had a lot of leaks in town. So, but I was told I called Debbie, and Debbie talked to, I guess, Richard, and said, yes, you can get water. And I finally called Barry. Barry called me back. We think you can get water. Well, then the next day, I'm told everything's on hold. We got to go through variance. So what I'm trying to do is get a variance for a camper. I have hired Ed Jurgen, if you're familiar with, to help me design a cabin. The plan is to build a cabin over there on the pond. And so I'm working with a guy, Jimmy Allen, if you know the builder, to get estimates on building the cabin. So the ultimate plan is to build a cabin there on the property, about 1,600 square feet there by the pond where the camper is. So the whole idea is put a camper in that'll last for, until we can get it built. If you're familiar with builders right now, they're all busy, so it's hard to get estimates, it's hard to get anything done. So what I'm trying to do is get a variance to be able to put a camper there. No one's living there, it's just coming down and staying a few nights during hunting season, so that's all I'm asking for.
When are you planning on building?
When I can get the estimates back from Ed Jurgen or Jimmy Allen, whenever. I've been trying to meet with him now for the last several months, and he's so swamped it's hard to get an estimate from him.
So once you're obtaining the estimate, that's when you're going to proceed with building the cabin?
Sure. And it can take anywhere from, and Jimmy's been building houses for me at Lake Martin, so as you know, it can take anywhere from 9 months to 12 months depending on subs and all that. So that's the plan, is to build a cabin. no, I don't have, yeah, we don't, it's hard to get, as y'all know, it's hard to get anybody to go. Jimmy is swamped right now. He's been promising me he'll give me estimates for the last 2 months now, so, so that's it. It's trying to get the estimates, but the goal was to have started several months ago. I had the designs done by Ed Jurgen several months ago, back in the spring, but I still don't have estimates, so.
So the camper that's residing there now, would it
You gonna remove it?
I'll remove that, yes, yes.
Well, I'll tell you my thinking on it, I'm not for rezoning on a permanent basis. I don't have a 1 minute problem with zoning this thing for you 12 months or 18 months till you build this house. But it will return back like it is now, once you cabin and you move that trailer. That's my recommendations, that, cause I ain't being ugly, but I don't want no trailer park over there. You got a trailer park right across the lake. I've been here 65 years, I've seen it that long, and I just do not want a trailer park on that side of the street. That's I don't have a minute's problem with authorizing you to build this house, but it's gonna be zoned temporarily until you build and the trailer pulls off and you got your cabin.
I am totally okay with that. The plan is not to build a trailer park.
Well, I ain't saying y'all,
Yeah.
I'm just giving you my opinion. I don't want it, and I'm just letting you know that. And, I don't have a problem. I love you to build this house. I want this house over there, but I don't want this land. It's 27 acres there. Rezone that you can, when you decide you don't want it, you're gonna put 25 more trailers. You understand my?
Well, Matt Tucker told me several years ago it would never happen to put a trailer for it, and I said, tell me why, Matt? He goes, because the mayor lives across the street and my driveway's down the street, so I heard that loud and clear years ago. So
I ain't
I'm not.
I ain't no mayor. I ain't no, but anyway.
So there's no intent to put a trailer park there. And in fact, I won't even be living there. I live in Atlanta. I come down a few times a year and just need a camper there. But the plan is I submitted the drawings, you know, from Ed Jurgen. I think y'all all know Ed, pretty good designer to build the cabin. So as soon as I get estimates from, you know, Jimmy and find out when he's available, then we'll start building.
So you are okay, you are in agreement with us to do 12 to 18 months temporary, variance?
Sure,
for that
sure,
camper. And
sure.
after that 18-month period, if the cabin is not built, it have to come back before the board.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Mr. Chairman, can I like to, bring up the speed.
All right, go ahead.
Normally we do this before we bring people up, so we kind of give you an idea about what's been presented to us in a variance, and kind of bring up the speed on exactly what's. We received a petition of variance from Mr. Run in reference to a camper. When we get these variants, whether it's a mobile home or a variance where a mobile home might be 6-7 feet too big, then we ask for a variance for that 5-6 feet to let it go. So in this instance, it's not a mobile home. We went through our ordinance zoning for R1, and we could not find anywhere where a camper was permitted in R1. That's the reason I gave you the R1 zoning. It's all about zoning R1, 2, 3, D1, M1, whatever. It has permitted uses in that. So what we normally try to do, if you look at R1, if it's mobile home, there's a special exemption for that. And that's how it gets to this board, based on a lot of other information that, you know, we request be fulfilled. Now, we couldn't find it anywhere. Now, there's a thing about temporary land use, but that's for different things, carnivals and all that kind of stuff. Now, how we got to the point of Mr. Reynolds having the camper out there initially, which I know you seen it in your package that it was approved, he came and applied for temporary power, not permanent power. Temporary power meaning that, you know, he could have used the power basically for running a saw, running this and that, as it was noted temporary. and the pole is still there as temporary. I guess 2 months ago, he came back to apply for permanent power and water and sewage. Now, it's bear in mind that we, don't use a temporary camper there, there's no reason for permanent power, permanent sewage. I spoke to Mr. Reynolds in reference to everything that's done as far as building, alteration, excavation, all that's done through zoning permit or building permit. I asked him about buying it, because once I reviewed his package, he spoke of building a cabin down the road. And that's when he had the kind of same conversation that he had with you guys about where we're going to build this later. So that was the reason we kind of held back on permanent power. There's no reason to, show a lot up or show some property if there ain't no building activity going on. So basically, the variance is not for the building part. The variance is for basically the camper only. And I just want you to bear in mind that no way in our zoning that the camper was, that's permitted. But, and also, we had a conversation about the drawing. Most of the time now, the drawing needs to be done by a certified architect. So we're far away from being on some stuff on building the cabin part. So basically, the variance is for a camper only. And let's bear in mind, commercial property or residential property should be buffered. As it states now, we can see the camper right now from Handy Cemetery. So anytime a residential property meets commercial property should be buffered so you can't see anything. So right now, it will be, even though the variance says, what he had presented, we're looking at 27 acres instead of a lot. You still have to carry. So I just want you to bear in mind that it doesn't meet what R1 permits. That is why he is applying for a variance for a camper.
All right,
And there must be a hardship.
Hold on just a minute. Who let him put the camp over at start with?
If you look at, that's why I gave you the temporary land use.
I know, but still, somebody let him, but we didn't, this board didn't do
The
that.
board did. If you
Board didn't do
if you
that.
read that, what I just gave you, that's why I gave it to you.
I know who gives
Yeah,
the
there's a state, they say temporary land. But now, from the temporary part we're going to another county. So this thing has went
This
from a
camp
small
was
county.
brand new, he's been
But
doing.
I understand, I read it. But now we went from a small county 2 or 3 days to one a little bit bigger. So, to me, it's a trend we get a little bit more and more. But we doesn't have any building permit, no zoning permit down, even though it's potentially a cabin going to be built now. I don't know what we ever gave any temporary variance or not, but most of these variants been used permanent for
That's
something.
right, for double wide trailer.
Yeah, for double wide trailers and
But they say he's gonna build a house is why I'm going.
but I doesn't have a, even though it's in this package, we doesn't have a building permit. Normally when I come in with a package, we have this stuff packaged, I've been narrow this down to a building permit. I have a little bit more information. We're talking about the camper only, so the cabin part. And let's look at the hardship.
So what you're saying for our zoning ordinance,
It's all one, it's residential.
we can't put a camper out, because
Well,
that's,
the permitted usage says, if it's permitted usage, you probably wouldn't have had it, you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Other than if it was a mobile home. But just like any permitted usage, it says on there, you can have a flower shop or whatever. You don't have to kind of go through that because it's already been permitted for these things to be put in there. It doesn't interfere with residential area. But as far as if our variance saying coming up for a trailer like a mobile home under the special exemption, it says mobile home. Now, I don't know whether this is a mobile home.
This is not a mobile home, this is just like putting a office trailer on a work site, in my eyes. When the work site is finished, the office trailer will be moved.
Well, that's why I'm trying to give you some clarity that the variance is not for the cabin right now, it's for the camper.
I understand that, but when this house is built, that camper don't leave if I have to hook it up to my trailer.
But this is what I want you to bear in mind. We don't have anything. Now, we had a building permit said we're gonna be building in 6 months. Once you get one building
Well,
permit.
hold on, Joe.
Mhm.
If this house ain't built in the length of time we give him, he on his own.
I
He
understand.
pulls the thing out, but it's gonna be rolled up in the middle and wrote down that this trailer's got to go, because the one over there's got to go.
I understand.
And
As of
I'm
right
not
now-
giving him a permission to put no trailers over there. I'm considering this an office trailer to build on site.
But there's a distinct difference, Mr. Chairman, as a office. In
Well,
our
it may
ordinance-
be, but.
Well, hold on, in our ordinances, our office trailer, it do states that our office trailer is permitted if it's used for office and some other thing, straight line. That is permitted in certain areas, but this is not an office trailer. We found this ordinance pretty good. This is the distinction I'm trying to get you to understand. Even though you got two things in your package, the variance is for only one thing. That wasn't clear to you, I don't think, and that's what I'm trying to get you to see. And all the stuff is there now, it's temporary. The other part that was trying to be
You
going.
ain't finna give him temporary, you can give him temporary power just like what he's got now. That's what he's gonna have until he builds a house.
Yeah, but permanent power was applied. That's why he got denied on that, because it's not a whole lot of construction work going on yet.
No, if he had it, he ought to be running him out over there, because he ain't done all his permits, right?
Properly, right. I'm just trying to get you to understand that the difference was supposed to be done. We don't have any information on that, nothing to lock it in, what he's applying for. He's applying for a camper, it's not an office trailer, it's a camper. We done look through it, there's a distinction between it. That's all I want to do.
But we gonna put a time limit on this thing.
That's fine,
Because
whatever
he
you
has
decide
had
to do.
one
I
here
was just trying to
since
get you to understand the
2016.
difference.
Been there 3 years. And we didn't give him this variance, you give it to him.
He didn't apply for it.
No, but you give him permission, I didn't word of mouth permission. Right?
That's why I brought that before. It's nothing out of the ordinance that we did granted him. We granted him temporary power.
Why are we even up there? I mean, why couldn't the city just give him permission to put his trailer?
Because
I could have
now,
been home eating something.
well, let me clarify that. Now we had one trailer there. Now, one camper. Now we're going to a bigger one. 6 months later, it could be one long as this. So when does this stop? You see what I'm saying? The point of it is, do the temporary part runs out? Well, this is my thing, Mr. Brown. Why would you need permanent power, permanent sewage for a camper? That's kind of go with the building part, what I'm trying to clarify.
Well, yeah, that's
So
right.
now we had another step as another camper. So this time, if we'd have done a building permit, it probably wouldn't have got to you anyway. So I'm trying to enlighten you on these steps about the ordinance and how it should happen. So if you do a building permit, a zoning permit, if something don't fall in line, you get denied on the permit, then it probably won't ever get to you anyway. So
I got
both of these things are together. I'm trying to get you to figure out which one is distinctly different.
So what is your recommendation to the board?
I'm not really I'm just telling you the camper it's not in there as a permitted usage in this area. That can be up to you guys. I'm telling you what the difference is. It's not, if this was a mobile home, if you look at R1, it says special exemption. Then we got a sheet up there for special exemption, for mobile home setup, hardships and all this kind of good stuff. A variance can be for, I need 6 extra feet, or this lot ain't but 80 feet, and then in R2 it's 85, can I get a variance for 5 feet? It's very different variances that you can apply for. That's a common variance. You know, my lot 83 feet and R2 is 85. Forgive me for the 2 feet and let me, go forward, because the 2 feet might not need. But in this variance, I might have cut my house down 2 feet. I'm just trying to explain to you, because there's a lot of different areas in the zoning that affect things differently.
So if this is passed, then what happens to the permanent electricity and sewage and all of that? So since this is not for this cabin, then he can't get the permanent, electricity.
What we saying, it's kind of like two things together in this one there. If you put in a camper, you really don't need the sewage, not if you're gonna hook up to the sewage and all. Then it goes to a permanent resident. The trail over there now is just like a little temporary thing, a little plug. You could plug anything into the pole you put out there. And at the time, hey, it was trees all the time, there's nobody even see it. Probably been cut now, now you can see it. It's temporary. It's a temporary pole, it's not permanent, it ain't wired directly in it. That's temporary. They're called temp pole.
Well, to my knowledge, they all temp poles until the house, till anything's built.
Well,
Am I right or wrong? It's all temporary electricity until.
Well,
you
when you get
actually
to your house, your permanent power is when it's on your house. Yeah, that's permanent. You hook to sewage, you hook to this and that, then that's a livable condition. Temporary pole, you know, you can plug anything to that pole. You know, it ain't no more than about 25, 30 amps that you plug
But
it
that
into.
camper can plug the poles too.
That's what I'm saying.
So he could be given a temporary, to put the camper there, temporary power, enough just for the camper to be there and to erect.
He already have that.
And in 18 months, if it's not done, the power pulls out and the camper comes out.
That's all I've been saying,
That's-
the whole
that-
time.
that's what we
I'm
all
gonna give up after the
It's
night.
just go temporarily with it, not permanent, and then nothing else can go other than this one camper.
That's something you guys gotta put in consideration with all the variances that you hear. I mean, you just lay it in your mind that sometimes variance come, but people need permanent residence. And, you know, they get denied, some of them get approved.
Yeah,
I just want you to
right. He's gonna be a permanent resident.
I don't have a building permit on that. We don't have anything say that actually gonna happen. I tried to get that. You see what I'm saying?
So you mentioned something about, the visibility from the residents, the people that are residing over there now compared to where his campers at. You said that there should be some type of blockage to where they cannot, they
That's
should
the
not.
normal process between residential and commercial property.
Could I speak to that?
Yeah.
When I talked to Barry a few weeks ago, I told Barry I would like to plant trees along where the cemetery is. And he said, talk to George about, I'd pay for the trees, he would dig the hole. When I called George, if you remember, you said, wait a minute, we like the look of that pond. I'm not sure we want to put trees in there. So now I'm hearing, you know, you told me you like the view of the pond, now you don't like the view. So I offered Barry and offered to George, I will pay to put trees in there to buffer it. The other thing I mentioned to George is when they dig the graves, they're dumping dirt onto my property. I have never complained. Y'all have never heard from me. I told George, I'll show you where you can put it on my property. Because right now, it looks bad if you've got a loved one being buried there and you've got all your red dirt piled up over here. And then I hear last week there were a bunch of heavy equipment on my property. So I will show them where they can put the dirt. I'll show them where they can park their heavy equipment, and I'll pay for the tree. So if there's a rule about buffer, I am totally okay with putting buffer in there. This is the first I've heard tonight that we need a buffer in there. So I've already told both of them I will help put a buffer in there. Thank you.
My only concern is, going back to the permanent sewage and, water for the camper that's about to be placed there. So since we're unsure when the cabinet's gonna be built, then I don't see why we should allow permanent water and sewage.
Have you got water over there? You got water in there?
No, and when I called a few weeks ago, I was told by, I guess, Richard, I could get water, because I called 3 days, and then Debbie called me back and said, you can get water. Barry said, I don't see a problem with you getting water. So I had to ask to get water.
Well, see, all that's gonna be left up to the city. We ain't got nothing to do with power, water, sewage, or nothing. You'd have to take that up with the council or the mayor, whoever. You know, I can't control the water and sewage, I don't know.
Well, and just to educate me, because I never knew this was a problem. This is the first time this has come up. I came over here, I was told you can do it, I was given electricity, you know, so for this, and told I could get water, and all of a sudden now I get an email saying, wait a minute, there's an issue. So everything I've done has been open. I just assume if I own, it's actually 40 acres when you count across the hospital on the other side. I never dreamed there was a problem putting a camper over there to come over here a few times a month, you know. So in all honesty, I'm just asking, was told I could do it. I was told I could get water, and my only question now is, if I own property on 431 and I want water, is there a restriction for getting water? And I ask y'all, is there a restriction for getting water?
Well, I don't really think it was the restriction about the water, but it's a restriction about the camper sitting there and the water and sewage possibly hooked to the camper. Then we go into a livable state of, then it's basically like a trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. But if you probably, you know, sign on with the building permit, you're gonna build a cabin, you need water, and it's gonna be a building there, then that's more logical than it is having a camper, because they're probably the first time we ever had to listen to about a camper coming, because normally campers like this sitting in the yard, or they're not in front of a house, they're normally like in the back when people storm, but
And mine's in the middle of 27 acres, so.
yeah, I understand. But regardless of how many acres is sitting in there, but it just that zoning says a camper. It's the zoning, the ordinance says. It doesn't permit that in it. It doesn't say campers to be permitted in there. So it's not nothing that, that's why you have to apply for a variance, because it's not the permitted use. I don't know whether you got one of those sheets or not, or even discussed with you, where you told me about it. My thing of it is, it's not a permitted use, and that's probably why you're trying to apply for a variance. It's just not permitted in there. You know, I don't know what we'll do with the next situation come up.
Right.
Somebody might want to put one in the front yard of 6 months. But now, is it a hardship? That's the number one thing. But, you know, if you don't have any more questions, good. I just tried to explain the difference between the variance and the building side of it. I mean, if I was going to do it, I would have a building permit, well, I was going to build it or not, it was just maybe spend $100 for a building permit.
The one that's down there, how often is it being used?
Probably 8 times a year. I mean, just during hunting season when we come over here to go hunting. I live in Atlanta, so I'm only coming over mostly, you know, on the weekend, so it's rarely used. In fact, I pay minimum amount on electricity, the $6 or whatever that is. So it's, no one's living there.
So you already got power there?
I have power, and I guess what provoked it, I was asking for water. But before that, I hired Ed to do the plan. So the plans was to build, and so we decided, okay, well, let's get a camper to get through this hunting season. And so when I called and asked for water, that's when everything went downhill. So, and it was shocked to me because everything has been fine. I've been there 3 years. Nobody's ever said a word to me about it.
So had you not applied for water, you just would have moved the new camper in there?
I'm sorry?
Had you not applied for the water, you just would have moved a new camper in there without?
No, I called to make sure I could get water, and I was told I could get water.
That
No,
was my
saying
suggestion.
if you didn't need the water, would you have still moved that new camper into onto that property?
Probably so, just because I want the room. But it is temporary, and I'm okay if you say 18 months. If it's not moved, you can move it. I mean, I wouldn't have paid if Jurgen to design a house if I wasn't planning on putting a house over there. So.
Just bear in mind, this is my recommendation to the board. If the construction site was already going on, and you needed a camper to live at this site while you build in a house, I don't see that. I never made a recommendation to the board, but I don't really see anything wrong with that. Like I say, I guarantee we will see this.
Well, how long before you give them a building permit to start building?
That's what I offered it, do you want to buy one, and I was, you know, explaining the procedure
So
to
he
him.
can go next, like Monday, go ahead and get a building permit to start, right?
Well, I was told I had to have a certified architect to do it, and I called Jimmy Allen, and Jimmy laughed. He said, I've never worked around a certified architect, so.
Mr. Moon?
Yeah.
I will also give you a see the lot of administrative guidelines. Something works in Auburn, Opelika, and I know Mr. Jimmy, but there's some special drawings for the expanded roofs, electrical drawing, plumbing drawings. When we order certified prints for most institutions or any municipality, those things need to be certified drawing, because then I don't have to try to figure out, well, did we got this wrapper spanning too far? This stuff is already done. You bring in the certified prints to be reviewed in any houses, any curb houses going on in the Fed, any pipes, jails, or any construction, those are drawn by civil engineers, certified architects, or some company that designs and draws print. I don't think this situation should be any different. Not only for your purpose, it's less work I have to do, because if don't, I gotta go back there and dig in that code book to make sure, because he's not an engineer, I'm not one either, but I can read anything the engineers draw. So this could be any different. Right now we got some U.S. government homes going up. They're gonna require you to have some certified print, because the electrical drawing is certified, the plumbing, a lot of the landscaping, the trusses, and all this kind of good stuff. That just standard practice right there.
And I am more than willing to pay the $100 for a permit tonight if that's what it takes. I was not told I had to. I was told before I can get a permit I have to get a certified architect. So if it's just a matter of paying a permit tonight, I'll be more than happy to pay for a permit.
That's the Lewis and all. I
That's-
mean, we don't do none of that.
We don't have anything on permit.
Lewis has to tell you appropriate.
Anybody have any more questions? No. Thank you. You, Mr. Ray, you have more questions?
No, sir. Thank you. I look forward to working with you on some trees.
So we are going to need for the camper that is residing there now, like it's gonna have to be a trade-off. As soon as you bring that camper in, that camper needs to come out within so many days.
Oh, sure. Sure.
After that, you know, you have 12 to 18 months to either build your house, build your cabin, or move the camper.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm gonna make a recommendation that we put this in, the minutes. That can't be but this one camper. And I ain't even mentioning water and power, but that's up to somebody else. I ain't got nothing to do with it. They can do whatever they need to do with it. One camper, and we're gonna vote on it for 18 months, and if it's not filled, all this will go back into just like it was, and he's got to get this camp out. I'll make that into a motion, so I won't.
Second.
But it needs to be in the meetings. In the meetings, I'm sorry. So they got it on file, and it can start October 1st if we wanted to. Is that too late for you to get started on October 1st?
That's perfect. Well, ask me, the question is, meaning I can't do anything to October 1st?
Or you'll have to get with, we're going to let this variance start on October 1st, it's just 2 weeks.
We didn't hear what you said.
No, he's saying October 1st.
October the 1st is when I was going to start this time.
Well, I'm okay with starting it tonight if you want to. Yeah, start it tonight.
Put it down.
Yeah.
But it's gonna come off in 18 months, you be sure that's in the minutes, that, it'll be flagged, that all this will go back. I'm making a recommendation. I don't know nothing.
It's like, zone out.
I'm making a recommendation for what we do.
Temporary. Okay.
I'm letting her get it in the minutes, it's temporary.
We could.
Yeah, you got all that,
It's
well,
recorded.
you got it.
It's recorded.
You can write it tonight when you get home.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna ask for a vote, which done got a second. see a house over there for this 18 months of, I'm telling you that. You don't know who I am, I've been knowing you all your life, you ain't figured out who I am.
I know who you are.
It took long enough.
But we need to make sure that the old camper is moved out, you know, within a couple of days once the new camper's there.
Okay.
That's it.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a second? Motion adjourned, let's go home.
Thank y'all so much for your time.